Pretty good day, pretty solid, accurate day as well. We did open lower, and then we had a higher day as we thought we would. Right there, 1, 2, 3. That's the virtue card at the open. A crest there in the first half hour that we sell off from down two and through support. And then we do a U-shaped reversal. Not quite, but come back and reuse it as support. How I missed that, not exactly sure, but there's a cross-street incongruency right there. Right, so this pop, we meet resistance that we met many times before, cruelty, right? Ace of Swords. Interesting. I wonder if we come back to... We probably come back to this price level and then break out through it at the end of the day here. Come to think of it. Because this is Ace of Swords right here. It is very possible we do that here in this last hour. Especially near the close. Trough around 1 or 2, basically the same trough. We had it for 1 and then like another one around 230. Followed by this notable move higher out of the decline. That's star card, right? And that should continue. We should break, matter of fact, we should break through this price level. I'm almost certain at the end of the day we'll break through this price level right here of 448. Oh, interesting. And then tomorrow morning, we probably, if we don't break through this price level here in the last hour near the close of 488, excuse me, 488, we don't break through that price level, like sometime right before the close, then I would say that that's probably around what we visit tomorrow morning in the post market. Matter of fact, we probably don't break that price level, but I'm pretty positive we're going to break through this one here, 488.12. This was a pretty accurate reading, guys. January's reading was created October 25th, 2023, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Hey, Robert. Is maybe my window's open? I don't know. Well, my street especially because I live by a bunch of hospitals, and the ambulances get stuck on this block trying to go to the hospital like every single day. And you can see how here at the end of the month of January, we've pushed the upper end of the range higher, just like the Aeon card indicated. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Hey, AV. SoFi, AMD, Google, Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon. And AV, this is a good idea to do for these type of questions, just so you're aware, to ask them like further ahead than the night before. You're much more likely to get accurate answers. All right, let's see what we got for the earnings results. I'm gonna do that in just a sec. I just thought of something here. There we go. It just occurred to me, like, I don't have the earnings information on the website, but I have it in my ebook, so I never thought to open up my ebook for some reason. Sorry. And now I'm dropping cards. right, SoFi overall earnings results. Or not overall, but the earnings results for SoFi. It's mixed with SoFi, and results are there's a drop, but we return to like the price levels that we dropped from. I want to see what the Queen of Discs is here, or Queen of Swords. Oh, actually the earnings isn't in here. I guess that'll be in the next edition. Interesting. That should have been in there. Well, we'll put it in the next edition. Anyhow, AMD, they miss. As far as our overall trend, or response, chart behavior response. Wow, I keep getting really difficult cards to determine. I think it's probably a reversal, and then we have volatility to the downside. It's a reversal at like a key resistance level on a multi-day scale. Google. I probably wouldn't trade Google because I got the prudence card as the earnings results, which probably means that they have like a mixed result. Either that or they have like moderately okay results, but I just would avoid trading Google. It's hard to determine overall trend direction on it. Microsoft. Microsoft has a pretty big miss. Chart behavior and response. Bumping along resistance, sideways, possibly even breaking through resistance. So even though they have a significant miss, the stock moves higher. I've seen that happen before. That happened with SPCE once. Apple. If you're just hopping on, guys, we're going through the earnings results for next week. AAPL earnings results. Looks like they meet. It's not a beat. It's not really a miss either. They have a meet. There's a meet. They meet their expectations pretty solid. And as a result, chart behavior and response. There's a decline. Decline offers opportunity to open up a long position. And then Amazon. That one's a little difficult to read. It's either a meet or it's like a meet and a miss. It could be mixed, a meet and a miss, probably on the two different. Two different numbers, and then the chart response. A decline that offers opportunity to open up a long position as well. Hey Hamza, hey Raymond, hey Tate. We didn't look at Bitcoin yet. Let's take a look. Yeah. I would have expected more of a move here, but we did technically break out there on the 24th. There was a reversal on the 25th, where so there might be some possibility of downside there, but then we have this big move here to not a high. So I would say the high at this point at the end of the month is probably off of the table based on that. I would have expected us to be much higher. Let me take a look at something. I mean, it could be that we continue a little bit tomorrow, but more likely there's a drop there on the... Actually, no, we've got more. I'm thinking today is the 27th. Today's the 26th. So we have more movement to the upside. My bad. It could be a really big move and then we see a high. Unlikely, but you never know. I mean, Bitcoin's one of those things where you could have this insane move out of nowhere, you know. And if we were going to have an insane move, it would be a card like the Ace of Swords or the Wealth card, or better yet, a combination of them together. And I got a no for highest high for the month. I think the highest high probably was the 9th. And it'll probably remain that way at this point. Yeah, it looks like that's the highest high for the month. How does Marlin look? Marlin. Oops. Looks like it's significantly higher in mid-February, the price level. How does Bitcoin look for the remainder of January? So unless we have like this insanely big move tomorrow to take us to a high, I mean, it could happen. Do I think it's going to happen? I do not. So with that said, that ninth ended, that cross-shooting congruency ended up being the high. But we should see some pretty mixed behavior on the 28th, like continued movement to the upside tomorrow, mixed behavior on the 8th, pretty mixed, and then we have sideways rotation on the 29th with a drop in it, but that sideways rotation, we're probably rotating near a high that we were previously were at, like we're revisiting a peak of some kind. And then on the 30th, 3 pokes through the same price level, followed by a sharp drop off of that third poke, and then a rally out of that sharp drop, increasing with momentum, taking us into February. Will Saturday be the next relative high day for Bitcoin? It seems a lower high from the previous high is expected, probably around 44K, my estimate. I believe Bitcoin will then test. Okay, so let's take a look. Yeah, so I mean, we could have some insane move, like I'm saying, like I said, we could have some insane move and end up with a highest high here at tomorrow, but I really, really doubt that that's the case. My sense is that the ninth right here was the high. Um, there is possibility that the following day on the 28th, we go from a we might actually have a trough or like a significant low. This could be a lowest low right here actually on the 28th, Or more likely, what we're doing actually is we might be revisiting the support down here. We might be revisiting the lowest low. We were here around the 28th, 29th. So overall, pretty mixed, and then a rally on that last day. Hey, Mark Hollow. Yeah, you got it. Is there a way to order reports with PayPal? Yeah, so it's we don't allow like you to just go in and pay with PayPal. Reason being is because I have to like apply, and then PayPal takes a look at our business and our website and decides if we're legitimate. And if we're not legitimate, then they probably will remove our ability to take donations. And for whatever reason, you have some companies like Wix got rid of our payment system. We weren't allowed to take payments through Wix's processing because they decided we were a scam, even though we'd never even had a chargeback. Like, so I just uh, I want to avoid that. But with that said, you can use PayPal. You can just pay as a donation through PayPal. Email me first, let me know what it is that you're looking to order, and then pay through PayPal, and we can handle it that way. The only thing that doesn't work with is if it's like a subscription, something that's recurring. I wouldn't do that through PayPal. But if it's like a one-off, sure, we can do it through PayPal. What's the best possible month for Theta hitting 10? Oh, I think I was looking at this just the other day. We were talking about $10 in Theta. What am I doing here? Let's take a look. I think it might have been here in February that we saw 10. Let me look at that chart again. Did I miss it? I feel like I missed it. There we go. I did miss it. All right. Right. So we were at a key support level and we had this pop and drop to a high for January, right? Then there was this failed attempt. Sorry, pop and drop to a high in January, then a failed attempt to break through key resistance, followed by a decline through key support. So the thing about the low for January, there we go. Thing about the low for January is that it's indicating the Ace of Wands is indicating there's likely an opportunity, like a rally off the low that gives you opportunity to open up a short position because we'll most likely revisit the low. And that's probably the case because in February we probably revisit the low, but there's also a high, like a significant high in February, and there's this big move in the early part. So we probably, you know what it is? It's not a revisiting. I think the low for January and February may be that, like, they may be sharing a low. I think that's what it is. They're sharing a low, yeah. Okay, so and there's this big move out of that trough in early February, and that pushes the upper end of a range higher, and that might be where we see $10. Let me see. I forget. I forget what where it was, so I'm gonna ask again. Yeah, looks like we see $10 in February, guys. That's a 10 times move right there. We're under $1 right now. That's 1,000% gain. Hmm. God, I'm so tempted to hop in there, but I just won't because look what happened with space. I was in space. It wasn't even for me. It was for my parents, but it was in my account. Look what happened. It was like space was the failure of 2023. So I just can't do it anymore. I won't. Like, damn, am I tempted? You're welcome, AV. Hey, Joe. Which month will be the lowest for BTBT within the next 3 months? Don't have anything for BTBT as far as a 1 year, but we can do that this way. So it looks like February. We should do on a like a multi-day scale. We should do a decline to and through support, meet another support, and then rotate sideways along that. Whoa. I just like half my cards just like flipped off of my deck. Interesting. That's way too many cards to read though. Yeah, we probably come back down to like the $2 range. Hey, it was luck. MSTR for next week. Okay, so there's a lot of price change on Monday, a lot of like an important resistance on a multi-day scale, and a lot of price change around it. I think we probably decline pretty significantly into Tuesday, and there's like a fake out to the downside, like it makes us look like we're gonna go lower on Tuesday, but instead there's this like notable move to the upside on a multi-day scale out of that fake out on Tuesday. Then we have some mixed behavior. It might be slightly bullish on Wednesday. Pretty erratic behavior on Thursday, where we most likely revisit a crest we recently met as an opportunity. And then on Friday, we have a notable rally along a diagonal trend line, breaking through a multi-day resistance level. Coin the first 2 weeks of February. So there is some possibility that I'm wrong about this high right here. I might be. I don't think I am, but there is some possibility because this might be associated with the moon card, in which case it would be talking about a high here at the end of the year rather than here between February and March. But it could also be both. There's some sort of peak. It's probably a high thus far. Probably a high thus far. So we come out of this trough at the end of the month of January with a move to the upside that'll stand out on a multi-day scale. We'll break through key resistance on a multi-day scale, stay above it briefly, and then break back down through that same price level shortly thereafter with the full retracement. That's the early part of February. A move higher through resistance, full retracement back down. And there's also a good chance that we might have a lower price level mid-February than the low of January. But then there's this unexpected move to the upside, even in the face of like seemingly really negative chart behavior. There's this unexpected move to the upside in the later part of February. Looks like a pretty sharp drop there too, around the cusp of like off of the high of February. I think there probably is a high, a significant high in February, but it's more likely to be right on the cusp of February, March. And it looks like there's a pretty sharp, wherever the high of February is, there's a really sharp drop off of that, like through multiple support levels. Hey, Proof. Would it be a good idea to enter crypto around the 28th, 29th and sell in early February, like the 5th, 6th? Let's take a look. Is there one in particular or just in general? So this is the February Bitcoin, guys, which if you have early access on our website, you were able to look at this and see the video for this like almost the beginning of probably the very beginning of January. Yeah, but I would be very careful, guys. There's a unicursal like February is very very bearish in like almost all of the February readings. Like there's a scary decline in there, at least one. Um, but I think you could probably do that. Yes, you could enter into it. I would be careful if we're at a peak here towards the end of the day on the 28th, because if we didn't have like a sharp drop to meet that peak, I would be super careful. I mean, if we didn't have a sharp move out of a trough to meet that peak, I would be super careful because that would mean that we have a sharp drop into a trough off of the peak at the end of the day. It's hard to say which one's first. But either way, we will revisit an important trough here around the 28th, 29th. I would enter into, I'd probably enter into, if we're at a low towards the end of the day on the 28th, I'd probably enter like a partial long. And then on the 29th, if there's an opportunity, like a similar opportunity or a better one, I would add to that long, and then I would look to hold that long. I mean, you could close probably on the 31st, but if you held until the 5th, I'd probably sell at the beginning of the day on the 5th. And there might be opportunity here on the second, but this isn't a cross-reading congruency. This is a cross-reading correlation. It's not nearly as reliable as a congruency. I just put it there more for like my own educational purposes. And the way that you determine that it's a correlation and not a congruency, if you're unfamiliar with our markup system, is that this blue star is not filled in. If it's not filled in, it's a correlation. If it's filled in, it's a congruency. But that seems like a good trade for Bitcoin, at least proof. Will FCX and KRE and FDX have higher highs at any point next week than today? FCX will, yes. KRE will as well, yes. FDX, it's a little unclear, but it seems like it's a yes as well. It's a little unclear. Will Alta and LLY have higher price levels next week than today? It's okay, it was luck. Don't worry about it, my man. Alta. That's a yes for Alta. That's a yes for LLY as well. Is the overall scary decline next week or the week after? See, like this is the unicursal right here. It was the first card to come up for the February reading. It was the theme. Essentially, it was the theme card. And I throw down another card so that I can find the correlations between it and on the timeline. And then there's a unicursal in February, making it a really strong cross-reading congruency. It looks like it's around the 7th, 8th, 9th. A lot of them, it's like a high off the 7th, 8th, 9th. And the 7th, 8th, 9th in a lot of them is like the revisiting of a high from earlier in the month or maybe slightly higher. But there's a sharp drop there, yeah. And it might be more than one. There might be more than one drop. You're welcome, Evie. If that happens, I'll see a lot of paper. Well, I hope it happens. Either way, I hope it happens. I am offering. We are still offering the special two reports for the 350. That deal actually ends at the end of the day today, so you would have to do that super soon. What you need to do is email me, and then I'll send you a link to the page where you purchase it. It's a special link. Appreciate your support, Mark. Will the market continue up until February 7th, 8th, 9th? And guys, if you have early access, you already have access to the March S&P 500 videos, like all of them. They've been up. No, it's kind of mixed in the end of the month. We probably have a notably lower day on... Hold on a sec. Notably lower... So we open higher, and there's either the same high or slightly higher one, and then we decline pretty notably into the end of the day, it looks like. Or maybe it's at the end of the day that we decline very notably because it's universal hexagram energy. But this is pretty mixed, the 30th and the 31st. And then we probably see higher price levels on the 10th, like we rally out of the 31st into the 1st. Higher on the 2nd. Probably the same price level on the 5th. Possibly pop and drop to the same price level again on the 6th, and then on the 7th I think we probably have this rally into a high at the end of the day, and that's that place where you want to exit out of long positions and hop into shorts for a pretty sharp drop. I'm actually not getting any advisement to open up a short position for this drop, believe it or not. At least not here. Matter of fact, so what I would do is I'd probably open up a partial short here on the 2nd, and then when we're higher, if we're higher on the 7th, I would add to it. But the fact that there's no trade correlators here makes me a little weary of waiting that long. It, like, overall it's bullish, yes, overall, but it's mixed bullish. It's not going to go just bullish. All right, my friends, with that, I'm going to roll. As always, thank you so much for watching. And as always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. We're counting on you here. You do that here at the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders. 5% of the profits donated forward, 5% of the profits donated back, leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you do that, you follow the rule of karma for the channel, the universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. Yeah, it's so I'm seeing universal hexagram drop in everything, in crypto, in stocks, real estate. Let me see. Let me take a look at metals. There's very, very likely a very strong decline in gold as well in February off of the high. It's not all bearish throughout the month, but off of the high, there's a significant move to the downside, and it offers a good trade opportunity to open up a long position. I'd open up a partial long if I can catch the lows of February. That's where I would open up a partial long towards the end of February. All right, my friends. With that said.